Welcome to the Socialite series, where we celebrate and promote women who influence the world. We do this each and every week to bring you information, inspiration, and motivation from socialites who have something to say. I'm your host, Monica Karst. Now let's get this party started. Hello and good morning, everyone. Here we are celebrating on a Tuesday. Thanks for joining us for the Santa Cruz Socialite series, episode number 8, Power Over Pain, with guest host Bonnie Bea. Before I introduce Bonnie this morning, I want to remind you that you can join in the conversation and ask questions by dialing into 248-629-0921. That's 248-629-0921. This morning, we have a special guest host. Bonnie Bea is the founder of Beyond Autoimmune. She specializes in supporting and empowering women who are tired of suffering from chronic and autoimmune illness and to reclaim their health and get back to enjoying what they love. So, Bonnie, welcome this morning to the show. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Monica. Thank you so much for inviting me on the show. I'm really, really happy to spend this time with you.
Thank you. I'm so glad you're here with us too. So Bonnie, tell the world why Bonnie is so awesome. I know you and I want the world to know you.
Well, thanks for asking, Monica. I think for the majority of my life, if somebody would have asked me that question, why am I awesome, I probably would have wanted to run in the other direction and actually have nothing to say. However, as I feel into that these days, there still is a little bit of hesitation. But I also know that through my life experience, I have surprised myself with a sense of resiliency that I didn't even know that I was capable of. And so when you ask me why I'm awesome, I think that would be because I know that I have overcome some incredible life circumstances and came out on the side a better person.
I love that. So tell listeners what you have overcome. Can you go into a little background about your story and your story of pain and kind of start out with that, your personal story?
Yeah, I'd love to share that with you. And it is this personal story that really is the inspiration for my work and why I am so passionate about what I do. When I was 19 years old, I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis. And I remember going to the doctor's office after been experiencing months and months of this mysterious swelling and this mysterious pain that was making even the most simple of tasks like cooking dinner or cleaning the house is really, really challenging. And at the doctor, they said, okay, you have rheumatoid arthritis. I said, I have no idea what that is. I went home, I looked up in my college textbook, rheumatoid arthritis, and what I saw is that this was an illness that causes, quote, crippling deformities. And I was crushed. I was 19 years old. I felt like I had my whole life ahead of me. I was in my first year of college, and I was devastated. So, things are a lot better now, but before it got better, it got a lot worse. By the time that I was 23 years old, I was using a walker to get from my bedroom to the bathroom. And for about 2 years, I consistently walked with a cane at the age of 23. I was miserable. I was in pain constantly. My whole sense of self and well-being, my value felt so low. I was incredibly depressed and really just hating life, hating everything, and hating everybody.
I bet.
Yeah. And I had a turning point. The pain was so bad that I got to a point where I said, you know what? I just need to drop everything and I need to really focus on my health. And I did that. And what I found is on my exploration to and through healing is that there were a myriad of options out there, holistic health, supplements, diet, medicine, all tons and tons of things. And I did it all. And sometimes I felt like I was getting little to no results. And where I really felt the turning point was when I started really addressing the underlying emotional issues that were underneath the illness. I had some self-sabotaging blocks in place, like I could never be healed. My life would always be miserable. Things are always going to really suck. And so as I, was stuck in those patterns, as I was on my journey towards healing, I was getting little to no results because I was already kind of creating a reality that wouldn't allow me to heal.
Right. So Bonnie, let's take a pause really quick because I want to ask you and go back to age 19, finding out you have rheumatoid arthritis. And when you find this out, I mean, this is something as young people we wouldn't have to worry about. It's like, oh, that's what old people get. And for you to have to discover this and then actually be walking with a walker. And at that point, would people ask or, like, well, what's wrong? Or, why do you need a walker? Was it hard for you to say or, to explain to people? Because I would think, okay, well, that's what old people get. It's like you don't think young 19-year-olds. Explain that process of like having to explain that your pain was real. Basically, that's what I'm getting to, the question of like telling people your pain is real and it's not made up. Because a lot of times when someone's in pain, we don't feel your pain. You know what type of pain, but when you actually have real pain, it is awful. It's the worst thing that someone can experience. You sure don't take health for granted after you experience true pain.
It is so true. And, chronic pain, it really robs the joy out of life and makes life pretty miserable. And back to your question about, how did I explain this to people? There's this one comment that I used to get really often that would really bother me. And it was like, why do you use an old man's cane? And I remember that upsetting me so much because I was like, would you like to show me what a young lady's cane looks like?
Right. What does that look like?
Actually, somebody did give me a cane with a sword inside of it after I made that comment.
That's that was pretty cool. Young lady's cane.
Yeah. I was like, that is a young lady's cane.
Is it supposed to be carved with butterflies and, a pink butterfly cane?
Yeah. But beyond that, I felt an incredible sense of isolation. And I didn't want to leave my house. I didn't want to see people. I didn't want people to see me in this amount of pain. I didn't want people to ask me questions. I didn't want to explain. And so in addition to pain, just being miserable and really destroying the quality of life, it also kept me locked inside my room and away from my family and away from the people that I loved and in really doing anything because there was this incredible sense of shame, like something must be wrong with me. I'm different than everybody else. And it was incredibly beyond the physical pain. It was at that point where there was this sense of isolation that there was a pain 1,000 times worse than what I was physically experiencing. It's like the soul and the spirit just breaking.
Sure. Now, you were still attending college at this time, so we were able to get that, to push through that, right?
I actually dropped out of college.
You did? Okay.
It was that bad. Yeah, I dropped out of college. Bad?
Okay, so let's fast forward to the 23, where you started to realize this emotional pain was taking over and almost taking over the real pain and creating new pain. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so, that was the part that was really devastating is just because not only, like then, I wasn't only a prisoner in my body, but I was like a prisoner in my mind. And I remember that at that point, the pain became so intense that even people like talking to me as I was walking would make me angry because I would think like, can't you see that I'm walking? Why are you talking to me too? It was like every sort of stimulus became painful.
Right.
Yeah.
So how did you overcome that? What did you do? What did you discover for yourself? And now that works with others. Let's go over because now you're a holistic healing practitioner. You have unique combinations of modalities to help people resolve their underlying, emotional and spiritual roots. So you've done this with success. You've done this with success for others. And it's not just getting on pain meds. It's actually improving the quality of their life and healing abilities. So tell us about 3 steps, because I know you have 3 steps that help to take power over your pain. Can you touch on those?
Yes, I do. So, the number one thing I think one of the things is when it comes to overcoming pain is, you can't just take pain pills. It's not going to be just one thing. It's not going to be one certain diet. It's not going to be one certain supplement. It really is a combination of everything. And I truly believe that there is no substitute for a healthy lifestyle, for eating food that supports your body, for having the exercise that moves your body. And I think it's also essential to have an emotional, mental, and spiritual foundation to really support yourself in this healing process. Because if you are operating on an underlying program of self-defeating beliefs, you may never really see the results that you want. And so I think that is a very important part of the holistic model. So as far as the 3 keys to having power over pain is the number one, I would say, is stay connected. Mm-hmm. I mentioned earlier in my story about that emotionally devastating pain of the isolation. And yes, pain really does have the ability to rob us of all of our joys in life. And everything kind of becomes blanketed and dull and horrible. And it's really easy to not reach out to friends and not reach out to family, especially when the simplest of things are not easy to do anymore. If you can't go on a walk with your friend or can't go ride a bike. So my number one key to overcoming pain would be to avoid the mistake that I made and stay connected to your loved ones. Stay connected to the community. Stay connected in any ways. Sometimes people like support groups, but stay connected to people in areas that have nothing to do with the pain. Join an art class, anything to stay connected to people, because it really is our relationships in life that are the joy of life. And once we lose those, there's an incredible sense of the pain of isolation. And people who are experiencing chronic pain are more likely to experience anxiety and depression, and they have higher suicide rates. And wow. So the more that you can surround yourself by people who love you, care about you, it's just really better for your emotional well-being overall.
Mm-hmm. Well, that makes so much sense. And it tends to be when we're going through the hardest times, we forget to lean on our friends and family because we don't want to bother them when they're there for us and they want to be there for us. So staying connected, number one, very important.
Number one. Yeah, number one. And number 2 is connect to your body with love. When someone is experiencing chronic pain, I think the initial response is like, oh my gosh, I want to get as far away from this body as possible. And I just want a new one. And I hate being in this body. I hate everything about this body. And I
trade it in.
Yeah. And the thing about that is there's this really interesting treatment that is used for people like amputees who have phantom limb pain or something. Oh gosh, I can't remember exactly what it's called.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But I don't
know. It's the exact word is escaping me right now. But what they do is they do this treatment where they have the person do exercises in a mirror that simulates the limb that they do have being superimposed on the limb that is missing. So much of the pain response that we experience it's a neurobiological, neurochemical reaction. And that is not to say that your pain is not real. Your pain is very real. But there's a thing that happens in the brain. So imagine the person who's an amputee. They're having pain in a limb that's not even there. So how does that happen, right? And why does the pain go away when they do this exercise of simulating that the limb is there again? And I believe that it's because they are connecting to their body again. They're connecting to their limb. And so it's
almost like,
we actually,
I was going to say, it's almost like mind over matter. It's the strength of your mind and love for your body that overpowers the pain. That's what it sounds like to me, is what you're talking about.
So, and I mean, it seems really counterintuitive because if we're in pain, we want to separate ourselves from our body. Mm-hmm. But really, the best way to heal the pain is to go into our body and to go into our body with love. And the biggest mistake I see people make when trying to do this is trying to go from pain into pleasure. And this is a practice because it doesn't happen that easily. And of course, if change could happen overnight, like I'd love to offer people that.
Sure, but everyone would be doing it.
Yeah, everybody would be doing it. But
if it was easy, everyone would do it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and so the best way to do it is practice, not where does it feel even good necessarily, because pain hurts, but where does it feel relatively okay? What are the body parts of yours or the things about yourself that you just don't hate? It doesn't have to be this whole, like, where's the pleasure? Where's the love? Where's all this and that? Is you can just start off really simple, like, hey, my pinky toe feels kind of okay.
We can start with baby steps. Say, pinky toe feels good today.
Yeah. And so, I recommend making a practice of it, even if it is 1 minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes a day. It always starts with baby steps, just noticing like, okay, I'm in an incredible amount of pain, but you know what? My pinky toe is fine. And I'm noticing that. Right. And just allow that to slowly grow.
Yeah. So
and I believe that.
You believe, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. And I believe that because the same neural pathways that our body senses pain from, it neurologically, in the brain, it's in the same areas as pleasure. So I actually believe that over time, for someone who is very in the experience of pain, they actually have a greater capacity to experience pleasure once they're able to get there.
Oh, fascinating. So loving your body, it makes sense. I mean, look at what love can do for everything else in our lives, and how much it changes personality and attitude on a daily basis. Do you find it a lot? I'm sure you never perfect this practice, but do you find after practicing for so long that you can easily come into this space of taking your pain to pleasure? Because when I see you, you're never in pain or act like you're in pain. And you're always pleasurable to be around. So has that become easier and easier? I'm sure if someone hears you and they're like, oh yeah, like loving myself is going to do anything. That's like, right. It's just a bunch of hokey pokey hippie stuff. It's like, no, it really does. So how does that help you today?
It is that hokey pokey hippie, a little bit of like, just kind of, notice what's good. And I'm going to talk about this in my next key, why it's so important to start with the baby steps and make sure that when you are focusing on what's good, you're doing it in a really authentic way. And I'll share more about that in my third step.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So my third key is to authentically express emotion, right? So we kind of led into this really nicely is when we are just being positive about things, if there is underlying emotion that is anything but positive, you are not going to be able to fool yourself. And this is really essential to the healing process because I kind of believe, in a sense, that chronic pain, chronic illness, is to some degree the physical expression of unexpressed emotion. And living with a chronic illness, living with chronic pain, it can create a myriad of emotional experiences. When I talk to people, people tell me, like, yeah, I'm in pain. But when I ask them what their biggest challenge is, they tell me, like, I'm angry. I hate life. I'm so sad and I'm so devastated. I don't know what to do. I don't know who to tell. And it's kind of like socially unacceptable sometimes. Like, so I went to the doctors. They're like, oh yeah, you have arthritis. I have to go home. And I look in a book and it says crippling deformities. Nobody was there to hold that space for me. Like, what do you do when you receive news like that at 19?
Right. That's hard.
Pissed. Yeah.
I bet. You get mad at the world and anger takes over. That's scary. It's scary too.
Yeah, it really is. And so, and it's important to really find ways to express these emotions of anger, hatred, sadness, grief, depression, anxiety. Find a safe way to expression, because if you don't, it contributes to the pain. Not only that, it will come out in ways that you do not want it to. You will lash out at your family. You will take it out on your children. You will take it out on the loved ones who are really, really trying to support you and be there for you. And then they're going to back away.
Oh, so, that makes so much sense. And you can't hide from yourself. You know, we can't hide from ourselves. And what we tell ourselves is true. Therefore, if we're feeding ourselves authentic crap, then our bodies will hear that too.
Yeah, yeah. And the biggest reason why people are kind of scared to do this is because they think, well, but I'm just going to try and stay positive. It's not going to really serve me to cry or scream or kick or yell or whatever it is. But I want to tell you that is actually the best thing that you can do.
Sure, it feels good
in your body anymore.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Especially if you've ever been to Pillow Pow.
Right, yeah.
That feels good.
You went?
Oh, yes, I did.
And
for everyone else listening, Pillow Pow will be a guest, I believe, next week. So stay tuned. But right now we're back.
Oh, fabulous!
Right now we're back. It's the Bonnie Show right now.
Yeah. So great. So I'll give you some tips of ways that you can express this emotion authentically, so that it doesn't come out ways that you don't want to. And one of those would be Pillow Pow. That's a great resource if you're here in Santa Cruz.
There you go.
And that's it. If you need to cry, cry. If you need to scream, roll up the windows in your car, turn on the Metallica, and scream it out. If you need to like punch a pillow, do it. If you need to just journal out all the things that you hate and everything that sucks, and I mean, like, it can get nasty. It can get really nasty. In fact, I encourage you to let it get nasty, because if you don't let that, it's just sitting inside your body.
Sure. Let it out.
Just let it out. And again, this is a practice. So you could do it when you feel the urge, or you could take 5 minutes a day. And I guarantee you, you will feel so much more peace, so much more calm, and so much more relaxation in your body because you're not holding yourself in that constriction anymore.
Right. So Bonnie, how do we get a hold of you? Can you tell everybody your website and where to reach you, what you have coming up? Do you have any type of webinars or seminars coming up or classes? I know you're always busy in the community. Can you tell us about all of the goodies on reaching you?
Yeah, so I do have a lot of things coming up. So I will start with the easy way, excuse me, the easiest way to contact me is to go to my website, which is beyondautoimmune.com. And on there, I do offer free Find the Missing Piece sessions to really help and support people and guide people into giving them some practical tools that they can take to have some next steps now for their healing journey. And those are complimentary, and they are, I think, 50 minutes long. And so it's a really valuable resource. So if you are curious about exploring some more personal tips, I'd love to support you there. And in addition to that, if you are in the Santa Cruz area, I have a variety of things. I have a talk coming up at New Leaf about moving beyond autoimmune disorders on August 17th at 6 p.m.
Fantastic.
I have a meetup group that meets twice a month to support women who suffer from chronic illness or who just want more pleasure and pain in their, or more joy and pleasure in their life. And you know, that's a great part, another resource for staying connected. And I'm going to be doing some upcoming webinars too. So I'll keep everybody up.
And those are on your website at beyondautoimmune.com.
Yeah.
Perfect. And then we'll also post all of your links to your website as well as your upcoming events on the Santa Cruz Socialites Facebook page. If you haven't liked us, go on and like us and we'll keep you updated. Bonnie, anything you want to leave us with today? Any last bits of pieces or items, or just say have a good day if that's your calling?
I think the one thing I really like to leave people with is just letting you know that you do have power over your pain. And it takes baby steps to get there, but I really believe that everybody is valuable. And when you use your power to overcome your pain, you are able to really tune into your value and be more of who you want to be in the world. And that's what the world needs.
Mm-hmm. And more bodies to help us. So there you go, folks. Thank you, Bonnie, so much for being here this morning. As for the show, that's a wrap for today's show. And again, I want to thank our guest host, Bonnie Bea. Visit her at beyondautoimmune.com. Thanks to our producer, Damian, who always is a charm and helps me out on the show. And to all of you listeners, this is Monica Karst reminding you every day is a day to celebrate. Cheers. Thank you for tuning in to the Socialite series. To find out more, visit us at santacruzsocialites.com and monicakarst.com. Until next week, be seen and be heard, and get out and shine your social light on your community.